Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, as I'm sure you can see from the title, I will be taking you through my TBR for 2021. So I don't typically, actually I think I did do a January TBR last year, but I didn't want to do one this year because I don't really know what I want to read this month. So I'm kind of just going with the flow and reading whatever comes to mind, and then that'll kind of set the tone for my TBRs in the months to come. But today I wanted to share with you all the books that I absolutely need to read this year. A lot of them are books that I wanted to read last year and didn't get a chance to, so they're kind of at the top of my TBR list for the year in general. But yeah, I'm going to be sharing that with you guys today. If you haven't checked out my previous video where I talk about my goals for my booktube channel or my 2020 wrap up, I would highly suggest you go check those videos out. They're super fun. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe before you go. And yeah, let's jump into this video.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly, look in my eyes.
Okay guys, so before I start off sharing some books with you, I forgot to mention in my intro that I will still be doing my Q&A. So if you were part of like my very brief book miss series for last year, you would know that I was going to do an end of year Q&A, and that didn't happen because I didn't finish book miss, but I still want to do the Q&A for you guys. So you can leave comments, you can leave questions in all of my videos for January, and I will compile them and do a pre-filmed Q&A for you guys at the end of the month that I'm super excited about. So if you've already left a question, don't worry, you can ask another one. It doesn't have to be book related. It can literally be about anything. It's fine. So yeah, definitely comment some questions down below and I will put those in my Q&A. Yes, Dahlia, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to try. You're going to try. I'm sitting on a stool right now, so it's harder for Dahlia to jump on my lap, and she's very upset about it, but she'll be fine. So the first book that is on my 2021 TBR is Queenie by Candace Cathy Williams. I was really disappointed that I wasn't able to get to this book last year, so it's very high on my TBR for this year. It's pretty much, it's not a YA book. Dahlia's going to use her cat scratcher now because why not? It's not a YA book. It's actually an adult contemporary, but our main character is in her 20s, which is awesome because I am also in my 20s, and she is Black, which is like even more points because it's a main character that I can actually relate to, which is really nice. Not saying that I can't relate to other main characters, but it's nice representation and I'm really excited about it. Not to mention the cover of this book is beautiful. The hairstyle is actually one that I do really often, and I think that's what got me super excited to pick this book up, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, as I throw my hair everywhere, that's a hairstyle that I do, and it's just, I don't know, it was just really fun to kind of see representation for myself on a book cover. But regardless, we are following our main character, who is, anything that can go wrong in her life is currently going wrong, be it relationships or work, and it's just one of those contemporaries where I don't think it's going to be anything like hugely groundbreaking, but I do expect it to be a very nice read, so I'm super excited to jump into it. The next book that I have is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Again, another one that I was very sad I didn't get to last year, especially because I did end up reading The Hate U Give. I wanted to read On the Come Up as well, but that didn't happen. I was going back and forth between whether or not I wanted to do the audiobook for it or not, and I think I'm just going to end up physically reading it. I also physically read The Hate U Give, and I enjoyed my experience with that, so I think I like physically reading Angie Thomas's writing style. So yeah, I think that's my thought process for that. But anyways, I'm sure most of you already know what this book is about, but briefly, we are following our main character, Bree, who has big dreams to be a rapper. Her father was going to be like this huge rapper and make it big before he died. And her dream kind of becomes a necessity once her mother loses her job and money is very tight. So she kind of feels the pressure to make it big. But then there's also something that happens in the media, ends up portraying her in a really negative light. So she has to contend with that as well. I love Angie Thomas's writing. It's very intricate, and there's so much more to it than what you think, because at least that was my experience with The Hate U Give. I went into it thinking that, okay, it's going to be pretty standard, but there was so much more to it. So I'm really excited for On the Come Up. It also takes place in the same universe as The Hate U Give, so that's awesome. I'm looking forward to cameos because I love cameos. So very excited for this book. The next one is Elle.K by Jenny Lee. This is an Anna Karenina retelling or reimagining or remix, however you want to say it. I haven't read the original Anna Karenina. It's a mammoth of a book. I don't know if I'll read it. I definitely don't have plans to read it this year. I'm hoping to read it at some point in my lifetime, but I will definitely be getting to this one this year. We're following our main character who's kind of just sailing through life pretty seamlessly. She's gotten amazing grades, lives like this perfect Korean American life, and everything's going really well for her. And then of course a boy is going to come in and ruin all of that because that's what boys do. So yeah, again, not anything like, you know, so not anything that I haven't seen before in a contemporary, but I'm still excited to read about it. So it's, I mean, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be, I'm hoping there's more to it than just, you know, mindlessly falling for a guy that is blatantly wrong for you. But again, I also have not read the original Anna Karenina, so I don't know how that ends, and I don't know how similar this one is to that, but we'll see, I guess. We'll see. The next one is probably one of the ones I'm most excited for, and that is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahara Mafi. I'm pretty sure I said her name correctly. I am so late to this book. Like, I feel like everybody and their mom has read this book, and I'm really annoyed that I haven't read it yet, but I got my hands on it super late. We're following our main character, a 16-year-old Muslim main character who is living in New York right after 9/11, and she's kind of discovering how cruel the world really can be. I'm really excited to read this one because I usually read books that are right before 9/11, but you don't get to see like the aftermath of Muslims after 9/11 who were still living in New York, and just kind of like the blind racism and hate that they had to go through and endure. So I'm very, very excited to read this one for sure. I'm kind of like flying through these, but there's a few, so I'm trying to like not dwell too long on any of them. But yeah, the next one that I have is Lovely War by Julie Berry. Of course, it's Lovely War. I had this on pretty much every one of my TBRs last year as soon as I got my hands on it, and I just didn't get to it. It's a World War I love story narrated by Aphrodite, and that's pretty much all I know about it and all I really need to know about it. I love historical fiction. I'm a history minor. I just love history in general, and I also really like Greek mythology, so I'm very excited about this as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really ask for much more than that. From historical fiction. I think it'll be really fun. The cover is beautiful. I don't know what, like, I look at this cover and I'm always mesmerized by looking at it. It's really, really pretty. And I'm saying a lot again. Oh my gosh, this happened to me last year. I was saying all the time in videos. I need to stop that. But I usually, when it comes to historical fiction books or just historical books in general, I usually center around World War II. So I am also very excited to be able to dive into a World War I historical fiction. We're now going to get into some classics. The first one that I have, I'm pretty sure if you have been following my booktube channel for a while, you're going to know what it is. And that is Little Women by Louise May Alcott. I mainly want to read this book because I want to watch the movie. And I have a feeling that once I watch the movie, I'm not going to want to read the book. So I am nailing myself down to reading the book before I watch the movie. I did it with The Hate U Give, and I'm really happy that I did that. Now I can go into watching the movie with a clear conscience because I've read the book. I need to read this book. I'm thinking I might do the audiobook version of it. If you've listened to the audiobook of Little Women, let me know in the comments down below because I'd love to know your opinion on it. If not, I'm just gonna have to sit down and, you know, read it, or I might follow along with the audiobook and physically read it as well. Maybe I'll do a mix. I'm not sure. But I need to read this book before I watch the movie. I have to. The next one is Withering Heights by Charlotte Bronte. This one is, I said it last year. I think this is the winter edition or the spring one. See, you would obviously think it's winter because it's white and blue that gives you a winter vibe, but this tree element makes me think it's the spring edition, but I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna say it's Withering Heights. I've had this one for a little bit now. I love this edition of it. I think it's super pretty, and I've also just been wanting to read Withering Heights for a while, so I definitely want to hopefully get to this one. I want to say I want to read more classics this year, but I said that last year and I didn't, so I'm just gonna say I want to read Withering Heights. The next book that I have is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This one I kind of picked up on a whim, and I wanted to, I got more interested in it after watching, what was that show? The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, I think is what it's called. And Dorian is a character in that show. And I was like, oh, you're Dorian Gray from the Oscar Wilde book. Like, you're that Dorian. So yeah, that character made me more intrigued to read the book. And that's all I can really say about that. That's a little off, but still, that's why I ended up wanting to read this book. The next one that I have is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. One day I'll be able to say his name perfectly on the first try, but it's not going to be today. I got this book as a gift for my boyfriend, and I have not read it yet. It's very thick, but the pages, no, the font is small. It's just, oh boy, that's my hair. The font is small. It's a mammoth of a book. It's huge. It's like, is it 500 pages? Oh, there's notes in it. Exemplary notes. Perfect. Exemplary notes, not exemplary. Good reading. It's over 500 pages by 7 pages. It's 507 pages. It's still very, very long. We all know here that I am not a fan of really long books, but I buy them anyways, or I receive them as gifts anyways. So I kind of punish myself with this, and I'm gonna read it. Okay, we're dwindling our way down to the last 3. The next one that I have is The Boy in the Black Suit. This is by Jason Reynolds, and I loved his book, Long Way Down, that was written in verse. I thoroughly enjoyed reading that book. I really like his writing style. I believe this one is not written in verse. So I'm excited to kind of experience his writing outside of like the verse writing world. I think it's still going to be amazing. I don't really know what this one is about because I looked at the synopsis on Goodreads and it's very lackluster. Like, there's not a whole lot there, but I'm fine with that because it's Jason Reynolds and I have a strong feeling that I'm gonna like it anyways. So yeah, this one I'll probably get to either this month or maybe in February for Black History Month. We'll see. I have a lot of plans for February, but I'm not gonna say anything else about that right now. The next book that I have is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, and this is by Elle.K. Sanchez. I also picked this one up on a whim last year. This one is following our main character whose older sister has just passed away, and she is kind of having to contend with the fact that her older sister was more of like the quintessential perfect Mexican American daughter, and she is not. And she's kind of got to figure out either how she's going to live up to her sister's shoes or fill her sister's shoes, or if she's going to kind of just branch out and be her own person despite how her mother feels. Because it's very blatantly obvious that her sister was the favorite. And she's also kind of discovering secrets about her sister that she didn't obviously know about prior to her death that kind of reveal that she maybe wasn't as perfect as everybody thought she was. So I'm really excited to read about this. Definitely more outside of my box. It's a YA contemporary, so it's my genre. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of where I would place this one. I'm mentally trying to figure out where I'm going to place each book throughout the year for my TBR, so that way I can kind of like nail myself down to actually reading them. I feel like this one will probably be a March read or like closer to a spring read. I like to kind of keep my contemporaries in the spring if I can, but you never know. That's one of the dogs whining, if you were curious, because that threw me off for a second too. And the last book that I have is another historical fiction, and that is My Plain Jane by the Lady Janies. This is a remix of Jane Eyre. I'm so excited because I loved... Hush! I'm super excited because I loved my... What was it? This is My Plain Jane. The other one was my... My Plain Jane, My Calamity Jane, My Lady Jane. I'm really excited because I loved My Lady Jane, so I'm super excited for My Plain Jane. I haven't read Jane Eyre. I have it. I don't think I'm going to read it before I read this one because I was able to read My Lady Jane, and that went fine, and it was just really, really fun. So, like, the Lady Janes are hilarious. They just make historical fiction so much fun, and they throw so many twists and turns, and it's just a great time. Super excited for this. I still need to get my hands on My Calamity Jane, and then they're switching and doing Marys throughout history, and I believe the first one that they're doing is Mary Queen of Scots, and I literally love Mary Queen of Scots, so I'm so excited about that one coming out, I believe, this spring. It's coming out this spring, which means I need to get this one in my Calamity Jane out of the way so I can jump into the Marys. But yeah, that was just a mental note for myself. I'm very excited about this book. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe before you go. Leave questions in the comment section for my end of month Q&A video. I guess I'll just call it like my New Year's Q&A or something along those lines. Anyways, leave questions down below for that Q&A they'll be doing at the end of this month. I'm super excited for it. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.